Hey, what's going on? It's yours truly, Kevin Key, and today I want to talk about post-it notes, which seems kind of interesting because you say, what in the world does post-it notes have to do with life and just growth and understanding? And so to me, I think about the stacks, right? Every post-it note or the stack of post-it notes that come with each bundle has a finite number of, you know, notes that you can tear off. And so I was talking with Uncle Massel, who is a person who has basically scaled multiple Fortune 500 companies from a couple stores all the way up to thousands of stores. And we were talking about insight and just growth mentality and how the foundation is super important. Basically, I asked him a question of, should you build a large enough foundation to build everything on that you want to, or should you start with a small foundation that you can put just one thing on and get it solid? And so he talked about building just one solid foundation for the thing that you want, get it good, and then being able to expand to another solid foundation, because the resources may need be too extensive to build across a huge foundation that you can only utilize a small percentage of it initially. And so he talked about the draining process of just building. Because I asked him about just, the journey. Because me being on the journey to get to this place, it's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of, you know, seeing people that you think are going to continue to the finish line with you, but they don't. And that's fine, because everybody's journey is beautiful in its own state, and we all have a destination we're trying to get to. So every person that doesn't end with you isn't a bad person. Sometimes the journey just ended and you all had a fork in the road that you had to go different directions. But there was an important thing that I took from that, and he said that each person that you pour into takes a part of you when they leave. And that resonated with me, right? Because I said, why do you feel this loss when the person goes, even when you're happy for them, right? And it's because as you pour, you are emptying out. So you can't pour from an empty container. So you have something in you and you're pouring that out into somebody else. Now let me couple that with the post-it note. The post-it note has a predefined number of post-its. So here it is. I'm going to pour this person out. Hey, you're amazing. You're a go-getter. You're this. Tear the post-it off. Hey, let me invest some time into your business. Tear the post-it off. Hey, you got something you're going through. Let me listen. Tear the post-it off. Oh, need to borrow some money? Okay, tear the post-it off. Oh, wow. You need me to be there for you? Boom, tear the post-it off. You need an opportunity? Boom, tear the post-it off. Oh, wow, this is what's happened. Okay, well, let me support you in this area. Tear the post-it off. And so you're constantly tearing these post-its off, right? Which is depleting the total number of post-its that you started with. Eventually, if nobody's giving you post-it notes, guess what happens? Your stack just empties out. And so in seasons where we have to be strong and we tend to be the strength for other people, we don't realize how much we're actually tearing off of our supply. And so that statement he told me about people are taking with them what you've poured out made me think, wow, so that's why it feels like that. And so a lot of what we're talking about here, let me talk to my men specifically. Men, we tend to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We're the providers, we're the solution people. And so nobody tends to, I guess, connect with us in a way that makes us feel the same level of support as what we're providing to everybody else. And I'm using these words feel because when we're in the trenches, it just feels like the weight's on us. Everybody's firing. Everybody's like, where's my protection? Where's my resources? You supposed to do this. You supposed to do that. You the man, this, that, and the third. I need you. I need you. I need you. Phone's ringing. I got this going on. I got that going on. This is such and such. This is such and such. And it just feels like you're being pulled at a million different directions. And nobody's saying, hey, how are you doing today? How's your day? And a lot of times we just push it down, push it down, push it down. And we're tearing off so many Post-it notes all through the day that we don't even realize that we're at the bottom core. And as a man, a lot of times when our Post-it note is gone, then we're just like, well, I got to figure it out. There may not be somebody to refill that Post-it note, and we still have to provide. We still have to protect. We still have to produce. Provide, protect, produce. These are what society has put on us men. And so I want you all to recognize what's happening so that you can reach out to your fellow brother or your fellow mentor or father figure or anybody else. And I'm saying that simply because you need somebody else who can understand that weight to be able to hear you, right? I had one of my buddies reach out to me the other day and I could just tell something was off. And I said, man, you okay? And he went ahead and told me about all the weight that he was carrying, all the expectation to provide and all these things. And the first thing I told him was, I see you. We as men are constantly feeling like we're not seen as a human being. And so, women, here's where you all can help. Be that nurturing, kind, feminine form that you all been created, to do. Now, this ain't got nothing to do with if somebody's deserving or any of that kind of stuff. I'm specifically talking about just base human being coming in, seeing a person getting beat up and covering them. That's all I'm talking about. It's simple covering. Hey, how are you doing? It don't cost nothing. And when you say how you doing, pause and allow the person to actually tell you how they're doing, and be attentive and listen. Help them to be heard. In this situation, you don't have to provide a solution. Just simply be a kind ear to let them know that they're not in it by themselves. And brothers, fellow men, it's time for us to give out these hugs. Boom. Hey man, here, I got you. That's what it's gonna take. Because we have to know that somebody else is in it with us. Otherwise, what's the point of us being on this earth if we got all these different connections, but we're constantly being missed? The Post-it note game is real. And a lot of us are basically just handing out fake Post-its. We don't have no more. It's kind of like when they started printing money and the money wasn't backed by anything. It was just printing more money. And so the value of everything changed because there was nothing behind it. So for us men, we don't want to be in a position where we're just printing out Post-its that we don't have. And it's got to come from somewhere. So if you don't actually have it to give, then literally you're just digging yourself in the hole. And this creates a very bad place. This is how depression sets in. This is how resentment sets in. This is how anxiety sets in. This is how all of the negative, emotional, generational things set in. So we've got to create better habits here. We got to be able to say, hey, I don't have another Post-it note. Like, I really want to give you a Post-it note, but right now I ain't got it. It's time for us to be real and stop, writing these fake checks. It's time to say my account balance is zero. We can't keep overdrawing and paying these fees, these life fees of emotional trauma, because that's what a fee is. Every time you write a post-it or you hand out a post-it that you don't have, the emotional capacities to support, you're inviting in more trauma, more baggage, more damage. So we got to be open to say, man, I ain't got it. And also know where you can get it from. Call your friends, call your family, your significant other. Hopefully there's some safe places for you all that you can really be real. Start to investigate, find out, be like, are you a safe place? And if that person can't be that safe place, you got to find it. We got to be intentional about finding our safe places as men. Because, if you don't have a safe place and you're under attack, then all that's going to happen is you're just going to keep taking hits. And eventually, the hits are going to add up and it's going to take you out. And that's why we see these suicides, and that's why we see all this other stuff that's happening, at this alarming rate. It's just unfortunate. We've got to find these havens of protection. We can't just be out here in the open thinking that we're going to be okay. We just going to do what we always did. That doesn't work. Can't keep writing wolf tickets. Can't keep writing bad checks. Can't keep peeling off post-it notes that we don't have. We got to find solutions. We got to find people that can pour back into us. Find people that we can talk to. Find people that can show us support and love and consideration. We are not just providers, protectors, we're human beings. So just continuing to encourage y'all on the path. Keep going and take inventory of your post-its. See where you at. How thick is your stack? And if it's not thick enough, it's time to reach out to some people that can help. Yours truly, Kevin Key, Kevin Key Speaks. I will see you on the next one. Stay encouraged. Bye.